Well, I'm Jim Hecht. I'm a police officer with the Town of Waterford Police Department. I've been there for 11 years. We're usually on the calls several minutes before any rescue personnel show up. So I think it's crucial for us to know the fundamentals and basics of CPR and any kind of resuscitation training. I was sitting in my living room. I was just waiting for my wife to come home from work. We usually have supper when she comes home from work. I was watching TV, and my next door neighbor, Lisa, came running over and started banging on my door. And I could just tell right away there was something wrong because she kept yelling, "Jim, Jim, Jim." And I ran to the door and I says, "What's the matter?" And she was just hysterical. She was crying. She says, my niece, she drowned in the pool. Can you come quick, please?" So and I ran out the door, ran around between our two houses and ran to the back door, and next to the pool I saw her niece. I ran up to her. I just dropped to my knees with her between my legs and positioned her and just started doing the compressions. And I just kept compressing and compressing, and she appeared to be dead. She had no color in her face. Her fingers and her feet were a very like grayish color already. And when I touched her to get her pulse, I could not find a pulse. And they said she was in the pool for several minutes before they found her. Her belly was very distended. She swallowed lots of water. And so she looked like she swallowed up like a cantaloupe or something. And I knew if I would blow breaths in her, all I'd be doing is blowing that back into her. So I started doing compressions. And while I was doing compressions, every compression, lots of water came out of her mouth. Lots of water came out of her mouth, every pump. When it's a little kid, it just seems to make everything that much more intense. One of the officers from the Waterford Police Department was on duty on that shift. He showed up, and I says, "She keeps throwing up." And I continue to do the compressions. He goes, I'll sweep her mouth. Just keep going, keep going." Then all of a sudden, she kind of like coughed. It seemed like a cough. A lot more came out. I remember I just kept telling her, "Come on, little girl, breathe." I kept pressing and pressing, and then all of a sudden, instead of the stuff coming out, all of a sudden there was like a inhalation. It almost like sucked in. And then it just seemed like it was going forever. And then all of a sudden she, again, another like projectile vomit, and then you could hear the and her sucking in the air, and then she started crying. It drains your emotions beyond explanation, because you think you want to bring them back, you want to do whatever you can. And it was hard for me after that. Paul was looking at me after she was crying. He goes, "Jimmy, go take a walk," because he said the tears were just streaming down my face. And I remember I went into the house, and it's like I just totally lost it. I lost my composure. I don't consider myself an extremely religious person, but I've always gone to church when I was younger. I should go more now than we do, but it's hard for me to even say this sometimes because it wasn't my imagination. When I was doing that, there was someone standing right next to me. There was. And I kept telling everyone after that, I says, there was this picture that I can't get out of my head. And it's where Jesus is standing there with that he's got a baby in his arm and a little girl hanging on his leg. To this day, I still got that in my head. It affected me the most out of anything that I've been involved in. And I was overseas and in the military for all kinds of stuff and multiple things with the police department, and that there's something about children. There's just something about children. About the training part, it gets repetition. You do it every 2 years, you got to get recertified. And you do it, and it's just like a lot of other trainings. You know the stuff, but it's like certain trainings, you don't really find out if it works or not until you actually apply it. Well, I'd like to say thank you to the Red Cross. Through my service in the military and my service in law enforcement, I've been through many different events where the Red Cross has been there. and the support and the help that they provide is you can't put a value on it.